Good evening, Belize. It's Friday and you're tuned in to News 5. I'm Sabrina Daly. Here's what's making headlines tonight. Home Affairs Minister Kareem Musa finally breaks his silence on the Budna abduction. But did he meet today's deadline to deliver that full report to the Prime Minister? Meanwhile, opposition leader Tracy Tegra-Panton is calling out the government, accusing them of hiding the truth in the Budna saga. Over in Caye Caulker, residents are gearing up for a cannabis referendum, even as GOB raises concerns about the Referendum Act. Plus, Transport Minister Zabane reacts to a High Court ruling in favor of bus operator Hernan Serrano. And the 2025 Belize Investment Summit wraps up in San Pedro with big promises for the future. Those stories and more are coming up after the break. News 5 starts now.
Wake up, wanna stop the dream. Lot of sharks, they boat. We better roll before we eat on up. Belize Premier Basketball League presents the Toucan Cup Playoffs Game 1. It's all going down this Friday, September 5th, 2025, inside the Belize Civic Center. Come and witness the Tiger Sharks versus Griga Dream Ballers. Game 1 was sell off, yes. Bring out the entire family for this one. Gates open at 7:30 p.m. and tip off at 9 p.m. Kids, $5. General, $10. VIP, $20. Courtside, $30. Music juggling by the Bud Song, Yo Generals. So let's make it a date this Friday inside the Belize Civic Center, September 5th, 2025. San Pedro Tiger Sharks versus Griga Dream Ballers. The Toucan Cup Playoffs, Game 1. See you there. Sponsors include
Welcome back. Minister of Home Affairs Kareem Musa has finally broken his silence on the abduction of Joseph Budna. Minister Musa holds the view that a crime was committed against Budna. He says that while Budna is one of the most dangerous personalities the nation has seen, he deserves to have his rights respected. Weighing in on leaked surveillance footage from the night of the incident, the Minister of Home Affairs says it leaves a lot to be answered. The Prime Minister ordered Musa to submit a report on the ongoing investigation by the end of the day today. Musa told reporters that the PM would be receiving that report by 4 p.m. today. He noted that the Commissioner of Police, Dr. Richard Rosado, was returning from a work-related trip overseas. Compal Rosado called a virtual press conference this afternoon for 4:30 p.m., only to quickly postpone that press conference to Monday. As for the details of the incident leaked to the public over the last few days, Minister Musa says an independent investigation is warranted.
It leaves a lot to be answered, Marisol. As you might have heard, yesterday the Prime Minister called me and requested that we wrap up, that the police wraps up the investigation and delivers the file by today. And so the Commissioner of Police arrives back in the country, I think about 1 o'clock this afternoon, but I've already communicated to him, and he has ensured and assured me that it's going to be ready by 4 o'clock this evening. Investigations take a while in any given case. This particular case is no different, and so the police has been investigating that matter. But what you might have seen from that video footage yesterday is a police officer coming to the scene, and then thereafter, I don't know if you recognize somebody. You can't make out the faces based on the video footage, but the person then tells him to leave. And so that has created a huge question. And so the Prime Minister has said that after receiving the investigative report from the police department, he will review it and decide whether or not we need to have an independent investigation. My personal take on it, and I've mentioned it to the Prime Minister, I think regardless of the outcome of the investigation by police, because of the interests of this particular case, in terms of openness and transparency, it warrants an independent investigation.
People want to know, based on what you said, so how is it that it's the first time you're seeing any surveillance footage from this incident?
I'm not the police, Paul, so I don't get to see what's happening in an investigation. I don't have access to that.
Do you know if there is high quality videos out there, or at least in possession of the police?
I think by the end of today, when that file is turned over, we will know what the police has in its possession.
Do you know if the police has gone ahead to identify any of those individuals in the videos?
Again, that's something that only the investigators can say, and that's going to be revealed in the report today.
Reporters didn't pull punches today. They went straight at Minister Kareem Musa with the question everyone's asking. Remember when Compal Rosado confidently said police had nothing to do with Budna's abduction? Well, that was just 2 weeks ago, long before leaked footage showed an officer standing by as Budna was taken. So, how could Rosado be so sure so early? Musa says he called the commissioner himself to ask that very question. And tonight, that question still hangs in the air.
So I heard that remark, and like the media, it raised some questions for me. And so I had called the police commissioner on seeing that in the newscast after the press briefing. And I said, Commissioner, how can you be so sure that the individuals are not police officers? And he said to me, Minister, what I am saying is that the police department is not a part of that. Whether or not those individuals who are in casual outfits are police officers, he cannot say, because there would be on a frolic of their own. But he's saying from the high command of the police, this is not something orchestrated by the police. So that's what he meant.
Was Budna's abduction state ordered or state sanctioned?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not, Paul. I think the Prime Minister has made that emphatically clear each time you interview him. There's absolutely no reason for the state to want to abduct him. As you know, we have relations with Guatemala, not formal diplomatic relations to the point of having an extradition treaty. But in a year or two after the ICJ judgment, you best believe we're going to have an extradition treaty. So why would anybody want to take him now when you can extradite him in 2 years? I don't understand the reasoning behind that.
Do you believe that this act was carried out by rogue police officers taking orders from perhaps a secret group within the department?
I would not want to speculate. I would want to see where the police investigation takes us and where the independent investigation takes us. But I wouldn't want to speculate who those men are. Again, you can't identify them. I think Mr. Budna said repeatedly they wore masks, but from what I saw from the grainy video, it didn't look like they were wearing masks. So again, it will depend on the enhancement of the high quality video, if there is one, to identify those individuals.
And here's where things get even more interesting. Remember those audio recordings from Joseph Budna? In one of them, he claims his kidnappers called someone named Kareem. So we put the question directly to Minister Karim Musa. Was it him? His response? He says he's insulted by the suggestion. But that's not all. Musa isn't just backing an independent investigation. He's also pushing for the release of high-quality surveillance footage so the public can see exactly what happened.
Paul, I don't know how long you've been in media, but I'm sure Marisol has been in the media a little longer, and so she knows me. She knows that I invested my entire time and energy to become an attorney at law. It took me 5 years. It might seem like a little bit of time. I practiced law in this country for 17 years. I find it a little insulting that you think for one moment that I am the person he's talking about. I find that insulting, Paul, because one, I don't know Budna. He has not offended or violated or molested any of my family members, so I have no grievance against him. He has not had any run-in with me per se. I don't know if in his lives he mentions me. I don't know. I've never heard of it. But why would I, as an attorney at law, as a politician, with my entire future ahead of me, risk my future for Joseph Ryan Budna? Ask yourself that question. Why would I get involved in something like that? You're talking about 4 individuals picking him up. You're saying that me talk to one a day and orchestrate something like this? Man, you call me a kidnapper now, Paul. I take insult to it, but at the same time, I know you have to ask the questions. You have to do your job.
What if the investigation finds that police officers are implicated in this incident?
Well, the heads have to roll, Paul. Absolutely, heads have to roll. And I think the Commissioner of Police said that to let the chips fall where they may. And so while the investigation is going on, you're in the media, you know how things work. Videos are leaked, information is leaked. It won't, in my opinion, ruin the integrity of the investigation to have these footages leaked. So by all means, release the footage, release the high resolution recording as well.
That's your position.
That's my position as well. Yes, as well. I don't think that... because there is the integrity process. Now, at this point, there's already a release of the footage. And so you could assume that if there anything is going to be done to that footage, enhancement or tampering with it, it's already out there. So might as well release the original one.
The Briceño administration is under serious pressure to explain what really happened the night Joseph Budna was abducted, just steps away from the Orange Walk police station. Belizeans want to know, where is the full surveillance footage? What's being hidden? And it's not just the public speaking out. Opposition leader Tracy Tager-Panton is turning up the heat, calling the incident a clear violation of Budna's basic rights as a Belizean citizen. She refuses to stay silent, and neither are the voices joining her. What's making this even more explosive? A video clip has surfaced showing the exact moment Budna was taken, reportedly by 3 police officers. It's a chilling scene and it's raising serious questions. Yet despite the mounting outrage, Prime Minister Briceño said he was waiting on a report from the Minister of Home Affairs. For many Belizeans, that response felt like a delay tactic, and Tager-Panton isn't buying it either.
The fundamental responsibility of a government is to protect the sovereignty of the country and to protect the safety of our citizens. And it seems to me that this administration has abdicated its fundamental responsibility. I say that because I afforded the Prime Minister every benefit of the doubt, and I called him on this matter. I've had sleepless nights on this matter, and his response is the response he gave to the media outlets yesterday. He's waiting for a police report. A matter that is so high profile, so sensitive, that happened in front of a police station, in the center of the constituency that the Prime Minister represents. He's waiting for a police report. He has to demand a police report from the minister responsible for police. He has to demand a report from the commissioner of police, who has clearly lied. Something is gravely and seriously wrong with that situation.
Coming up, Caye Caulker to make history with first cannabis referendum. More when we return.
Of the Mexican Caribbean, a whole spectrum of colors and hues, multi-dimensional cuisine, holographic beaches. The true new era is within you.
bringing people together.
Hi, my name is Miss Kenisha Rayburn, and we're here at Grace Primary School. I actually follow Benny's on my Facebook, and so it was on my feed, and I saw the competition, and I decided to try out for it. This prize I have won, I welcome it, I appreciate it so much. For me, it's a big relief because it's really costly every year to get your classroom prepared, and so this would be a really big relief. My students definitely would be excited to see their classroom, and I am sure my students will have a better learning environment. The environment will probably boost their motivation to learn.
This September, the music gets louder, the costumes get brighter, and the streets of Belize explode, color and culture. Greater Belize Media brings you the ultimate carnival experience, from lineup to last lap. Join our live coverage on Saturday, September 6th, starting at 1 p.m. from Memorial Park all the way to Marion Jones Stadium. Carnival 2025 marks 50 years of rhythm, resistance, and revelry, and we will bring it to you every step of the way, from lineup to last lap. Carnival 2025 on Greater Belize Media. See you there. See you there.
In Toyota, we think that when you trust the timing of your life, life becomes easy to drive. Easy to connect. Easy to start. Easy to make friends. Easy to enjoy. Because if you can trust in a car that's easy to drive, shine, and fit, life is also easy to live. Trust and enjoy. Easy to drive is to live life with the confidence that only Toyota can provide you. New Toyota Raves. Easy to drive, easy to live.
Caye Caulker residents are getting ready to vote in what will be Belize's first ever cannabis referendum. The question is whether to legalize the sale and use of marijuana on the island. It's not only about lighting up, it's also about boosting the local economy. The aim is to build a regulated, taxable cannabis industry, with a slice of that revenue going straight back into Caye Caulker's development. And yes, it's causing quite a stir. The buzz around the referendum has reached national levels, even prompting the government to take a fresh look at Belize's National Referendum Act. So what could this mean for the island and for Belize as a whole? To get some answers, we spoke with government officials and the man who sparked the movement. News 5's Brittany Gordon has that story.
In just 1 month, the island village of Caye Caulker will make history by hosting the first ever cannabis referendum in Belize. It's an issue that has been discussed across the country, but now, through a movement started by one man, the referendum has been approved. Village Councillor Ilya Rosado gathered over 300 signatures on a petition to take the issue to a vote. He says the idea was sparked by his desire to help the residents of his community.
My community has many needs, and most of that are things like infrastructure. I have people in my community living without water, electricity. We need proper streets. Our schools need help in terms of their own facilities, their own infrastructure, and we never have enough revenue to be able to render the assistance that I'd like to help. And one of the things that I came up with as a possibility was seeing if we can use this as a way to get additional revenue for our community.
Rosado's vision is to create a regulated, taxable industry, so a portion of the revenue can be invested back into the island. He also foresees that this industry will help eliminate the amount of black market cannabis available in Belize.
I definitely don't want to see this out in the open all over the streets or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I think that's the issue right now. It's a problem that we have, and if with proper regulation, just like there are laws against public drinking, we can have strict laws against having this out in the open in public.
The movement for the legalization of cannabis on the island has received support from the Minister of New Growth Industries, Karim Musa. He says that law enforcement will be able to better track the movement of the drug from seed to dispensary to consumer.
What is a concern to me is the illegal trade of cannabis coming from Mexico every single day, endangering the lives of our young men, especially in Belize City, causing all of these rivals, causing all of these conflicts. And so, in my opinion, I view the Caye Caulker referendum as a bold initiative by a tourist destination that's saying, hey, tourism is great, but we want to complement it with something. We want to complement it with a regulated industry that keeps cannabis away from young people.
Musa says the industry could boost tourism and curb drug crimes. But not everyone in government agrees. On Thursday, PM John Briseno announced plans to review the Referendum Act to prevent local voices from triggering national consequences. Minister Louis Zabané echoed the concern.
I believe they have heard that that process will need to go through, but that the law is being revised, and we will be looking at that at the next House meeting.
For you, does it have any constitutional implications?
Well, yes, in the sense that, as Prime Minister had mentioned, it has national implications being decided upon by a small community. And so I don't think that was the purpose that was trying to be achieved by the Act. And I think then now we have to improve it so that small communities can deal with issues related to their communities, but then national issues have to be dealt with at a national level.
While Rosado acknowledges the concern of several members of the government, he maintains that the referendum is in the best interest of Caye Caulker residents. He says that it's not about voting yes, it's about having a choice.
They are the leaders of this country. I'm just at a local level, and they will need to make the decisions that they believe is right for the entire country. I'm focused on my own community because this is the community that chose me as one of their leaders. So my loyalty lies with the people who chose me, and I am very humbled by that fact.
Musa further stressed that if implemented, the island would establish special zones for consumption of cannabis. He says that he does not believe the industry would make policing the movement of cannabis more difficult on the mainland.
There are special zones and special areas created all the time across Belize, whether it's the Corozal Free Zone, whether it's Harvest Key, whether it's different EPZs or DPAs throughout the country. Caye Caulker would be a cannabis destination designated as such, sort of like a little Amsterdam, if you will. And so the cannabis that is produced there will be sold there, small quantities. So you cannot expect that it will then get across the country. And if it does, like I said, there's an illegal trade that has tons more illegal cannabis, which we don't know the safety of that. And so that's another added bonus to this, is that we'll get safe products, tested products, as opposed to what is coming in from Mexico right now.
Whether the vote is yes or no is yet to be determined, but the island has already made history for the entirety of Belize. Brittany Gordon for News 5.
The death of 2-year-old Khalil Na continues to raise serious questions about healthcare services on Umberger's Key. As we reported, Na's condition continued to worsen after visiting 2 separate medical facilities on the island. Doctors eventually recommended that the mother catch a water taxi and take the child to receive medical attention in Belize City. Unfortunately, baby Khalil died on the boat en route to the mainland. Today, News 5 visited the island and spoke with several residents to get their take on healthcare services on the island and their recommendations for improvements. We also noted that while construction is underway for the San Pedro General Hospital, today work was at a standstill with no one in sight on the grounds.
To be honest, Paul, yes, I know it's a very sad story, but definitely we need a lot of improvement on what is health here in the island. As you know, this one of the biggest concern to me is the doctor, the polyclinic, and their work, how they perform. Because first of all, I think they should not let that child go out, especially knowing the situation of their parents. They cannot afford for a flight. Probably that would happen.
Constructing a general hospital right now, I know that's under the way. Do you think that will help with the system and the service?
Well, I would like to say that it will help. It also depends on the minister if he will improve the system, because they can build a big hospital, and if they don't care about the health system, bringing X-rays or things.
When I have an emergency, have an airplane that you could take one child or anybody who have some kind of emergency, make they go reach fast to the city.
You think in this case this child should have been placed on a plane?
Yes, it's supposed to be in a plane.
That's something that happens to me last year on October. Really? I went like 4 times, and after 5 days they sent me to Belize City to the hospital there. And at Belize, the doctor told me that I should have gone before that day. And I tell them I went like 4 times to the clinic here at the polyclinic, and they never told me what was going on.
Earlier this week, we told you that the High Court of Belize has ruled in favor of bus operator Hernan Serrano in his legal battle against the Transport Board. As we reported, the court overturned the board's decision to deny the renewal of Serrano's road service permit. The court directed the board to properly consider Serrano's renewal application, while awarding the company $60,000 in vindicatory damages. Today, News 5 spoke with Minister of Transport, Dr. Louis Abane, about the court ruling and asked him where the $60,000 will come from to pay Serrano. Here's how he responded.
The Transport Board will be meeting early next week to look at the ruling of the court, and certainly what had transpired was a setting in which there wasn't, all the procedures were not followed. So this time around, we're going to ensure that all the procedures are followed, and then we will see what's the determination of the Transport Board.
Is it your view that the denial of their permit way back was politically motivated?
I don't know that it was politically motivated, but I do believe that there was an error in procedure, and we cannot countenance a very basic thing like not reviewing an application or inviting an operator if they are not performing and giving them due process. I think that is where a lot of what we will have to do. We're going to be making sure that we follow the procedures, but we're not going to be backing off on letting operators know if they're not performing, but they will get due process.
And until the application by Serrano's is looked at, what is your understanding should be happening on the ground?
We have to move expeditiously. I mean, I'm sure the courts will understand that it will not happen instantaneously. You know, we have to, but we're moving, as swiftly as we can. As I said early this week, the Transport Board will be meeting, and hopefully we can have this addressed in the next few days.
And then the payout that's going to fall under the ministry, the $60,000.
Yes, ultimately it's the consolidated fund, taxpayers' money, and that's where it's going to have to come from.
Big things are about to happen at the Port of Belize, and we're talking major upgrades that could change the game. It's a massive upgrade worth $140 million. After taking over the port in 2023, the government promised to make it a powerhouse. And now we're seeing what that means. We're talking brand new cargo facilities to speed up imports and exports, a state-of-the-art cruise terminal for the biggest ships, and even a 400-acre mangrove park to help fight climate change. And here's something else. Belize could soon tap into Mexico's Tren Maya project to boost trade across the region. Prime Minister John Berceno shared more details on what's coming.
We negotiated hard, and we bought the port. I think we paid about $190 million. And once we got that, then we said, no, we need to modernize it. We need a cruise port. As I pointed out, the container port, the equipment is more than 50 years old. That has outlived its life. And so we need to modernize it. And so what we've been doing since then, we made a study, took it to cabinet. Everything is decided by the cabinet. I made up a paper to present a paper to cabinet as to what position do we want to do, only a container port, only a cruise port, or both of them. And the cabinet said in their wisdom that we need to do both. And so now we come up to an estimate. It is estimated around $140 million US. And then after that, we work on a master plan. That was presented to Cabinet. Cabinet has accepted the master plan. We started to meet with potential investors like SSA Marine from BlackRock. The company is owned by BlackRock in the United States. We have Global Ports Holding from Turkey. Both of these companies have been building ports not only in the U.S. but also in the region and internationally. So these are bona fide investors that will come in. We've been talking to, we're trying to prepare also to start to do the dredging. And so this time around, what we've decided to do is the excess material that we can't use, we're going to build these, what they call mangrove forests, pretty much about 400 acres of, it's not going to be one block of 400, but small islands that will cover about 400 acres, and to plant mangroves.
Is the UDP playing fair with its caretaker conventions? Party rules say constituencies with losing candidates should hold internal votes to pick new caretakers. But only 18 constituencies, those that backed the current leader of the opposition, are being asked to do so. And the process? Wide open to anyone on the voters list, not just party supporters. Is this transparency or power play?
The way the constitution of the party outlines this process is those caretakers or standard bearers that were not successful in the last general elections, that there should be caretaker conventions within the constituency to appoint new caretakers. The way these conventions are being carried out is really unprecedented. One, because not all caretakers were subject to the same protocol. So only 18 constituencies have been asked to select new caretakers. Incidentally, those are the constituencies where the standard bearers supported my leadership. The way the conventions are being carried out, it's open to all and sundry, to the voters list, whether you are known to be a party supporter or you're not known to be a party supporter. We are selecting a UDP caretaker for a constituency, not a standard bearer. And it's two different processes and two different approaches. Nonetheless, we are where we are, and that process is now underway. I have stayed completely out of it.
After the break, Moneylenders Amendment Bill is necessary for fairness in business. But first, here's the latest weather update from the Belize Met Service.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
Open Your Eyes is back again with another country tour. That's right, from the historic St. George's Caye the birthplace of our independence journey and the heartbeat of our national pride. There's no better place to celebrate the Battle of St. George's Caye Day than right where it all began. We'll bring you the sights, sounds, and stories straight from the island, with interviews, cultural showcases, music, and of course, some festive flavor. So tune in, grab your red, white, and blue, and join us as we celebrate the Battle of St. George's Caye. That's Wednesday, September 10th at 6:30 a.m. only on Open Your Eyes.
Here's how to access your contribution history on the My Social Security portal. First, go to your browser and type ssbportal.org.bz. Enter your email and password, then click Log In. Once logged in, you'll see your full portal account on the screen. On the left-hand side, you'll notice a drop-down menu for added features. Click on History. Choose Contributions. Read the disclaimer, then click Continue. You'll now see a full window displaying your contribution history. In the table, each row represents a different year. For example, let's look at the year 2024. Click on the row and a detailed breakdown will appear. This breakdown includes your employer's name, your earnings for each month and week, contribution type, the amounts paid, and that's how you can explore the new contribution feature on the My Social Security portal. It's quick, easy, and keeps your Social Security information right at your fingertips. Create your account today.
The government is cracking down on shady lending practices with a new bill aimed at protecting borrowers. The Money Lenders Amendment Bill 2025 introduces tougher rules like requiring lenders to register as companies with at least $50,000 in capital and submit annual audited financials if they're big players. For borrowers, the changes mean clearer loan disclosures and a big win on interest rates. The total cost of borrowing, including fees, will now be capped at 144% per annum, down from a staggering 240%. And if lenders try to sneak in hidden charges, they could face penalties of up to $5,000 a day. Prime Minister John Bersenio says the goal isn't to shut down money lenders, but to strike a fair balance between business and consumer protection.
I don't think it's a matter of tightening the noose on everyone. It is to ensuring that these lenders do not take advantage of our citizens when they are in most need. And so we want to ensure that, yes, they're providing a service, yes, the cost of doing business is higher than the bank because they take bigger risk, but we can't allow them to be able to charge in excess of 240, 250%. And so what we're saying that we have lowered that down to about 140, 144% total. It's still a large number, but we're saying that the total charges that they have cannot go more than 144%. And secondly, that whenever they signed, whenever a borrower signs, they have to list out all of the fees that can be charged to them legally, so that you as a borrower, you signed, you are fully aware of what you're signing on. So afterwards you can't go and say, well, I never know. So that is some of the things that we want. We want to make sure that we can provide something better to protect our citizens, and at the same time to ensure that these money lenders can work within a more clear environment of doing business.
The Millennium Challenge Corporation grant is back on the table and Belize is in. After months of uncertainty, Prime Minister John Bersenio confirmed that the U.S. has reinstated the MCC grant. But will Belize still get the full $250 million that was promised? And what changes had to be made to keep it? The grant, which was signed last year, is meant to transform education and lower energy costs. But now technical teams from both sides are reviewing the terms. So, what does this mean for Belize? Here's what the Prime Minister had to say.
That's what they're proposing. So now we need to sit down and to discuss. Basically what they're saying, they want to remove more from education to put it into energy, and also then from energy to move to look at not only in sustainable or renewable sources of energy, but also using fossil fuels. Obviously that is the new government from the new American government, you know, they have this emphasis on fossil fuels, so I think it's just reflecting that. We will do our very best to try to talk to them, to point out, to make the point that Belize is a country known for its natural beauty, its sustainable development policies, and that we want to move more to renewable sources of energy and try to control as best as we possibly can the expansion of fossil fuels for energy.
Are we giving up anything for this grant to keep it? Because obviously we know that Trump is America first.
Well, every leader is supposed to be their country first. I am Belize first and foremost. That should never be questioned. But then you need to negotiate, and that's what we do. So we'll be negotiating with them.
To give up what?
To give up what? Tell me what? What do we give up?
I don't know. Supporting the U.S. military.
Well, that has not come up to us, and we've always said that the CARICOM, we have always said that Belize, the Caribbean, is supposed to be an area of peace and an area of free of nuclear weapons, and that continues to be our.
Getting a passport in Belize just got easier. As of September 1st, you no longer need a recommender to vouch for you on the application form. The Ministry of Immigration says this move is all about cutting red tape and reducing the chances of fraud and corruption. Prime Minister John Bersenio explains why they decided to drop this extra step and what it means for you.
It is a big thing because as a citizen of this country, you have a right to get a passport. You have your birth certificate and you have all of the necessary. Nobody need to recommend you to get a passport. And then what has happened after that? You have a lot of JPs standing over by the passport office, and you come from Orange Rock and they say, oops, I need to sign. I don't know nobody. I then go out there and say, hey, I had a JP and sign it, and they charge you a fee, which you shouldn't do. It is unnecessary. There are certain things that we have to move from immigration. For instance, when people apply for a permanent residency or they apply for a nationality, they can't leave the country for more than a year. Those are things that were put in place 50, 60, maybe 100 years ago. Today, people have to travel. Once you can show that you're living in Belize and you may need to go to business in United States or Mexico or wherever it is, you should be allowed to. Or if you go to visit a family that's sick or whatever, that should not prevent you from getting your PR or your nationality. So we have to be modernizing these laws in immigration and to make it more transparent and easier for those that are applying and those that need the services from the Immigration Department.
Earlier this week, the U.S. military launched a deadly strike in the southern Caribbean, targeting a drug-laden vessel that had set sail from Venezuela. 11 people were killed in the operation. Washington says the hit was necessary because the boat was linked to a designated narco-terrorist group. But that's not all. The U.S. has now beefed up its presence in the region, deploying at least 8 warships and even a submarine to the eastern Caribbean to clamp down on drug trafficking. So how are Caribbean leaders reacting to this show of force? We asked Prime Minister John Bersenio if this move has raised any red flags.
Well, I can't speak for CARICOM, but of course we will be concerned. But at the same time, we're also very concerned about these narco traffickers. And we need to find ways so we can keep them where they are and not allow them to be able to come into countries like Belize and to create havoc. And as I've said from when I was given the privilege to be the Prime Minister of this country, I've always said one of my biggest concerns is narco trafficking and see how we can keep them out of Belize as best as we possibly can. And we're spending millions of dollars trying to do that, and we are paying a heavy price for that. But I don't think that keeping our citizens safe has a price tag.
The government of Belize is still deliberating the United States proposal for Belize to become a third safe country. As the U.S. continues to carry out the deportation of undocumented immigrants, Belize was approached to become a third safe country for asylum seekers. This allows for migrants to be sent to a country other than their own, where they can still apply for asylum safely after deportation. The U.S. is taking heat for its latest move. Critics say Washington is turning other countries into dumping grounds for criminals. We spoke with Prime Minister John Briceño about the ongoing discussions.
We're working on it. We have had discussions. We brought it to Cabinet, and the Cabinet has given the green light to continue the negotiations. But basically, what we will do, should we get to that point, and we are in negotiations with the U.S. government, or with the U.S. government, is that we are going to determine what countries or what region we want to, that would be allowed to come. People to be able to come. We will determine how much we will allow people to come into Belize. It's not going to be open. We're going to say we want 100 or 10 or 50. We're working on that number. I could assure you it's not going to be a large number. And thirdly, we want to ensure that whenever that happens, then that the funding would be sent over to be able to allow these people to be able to settle into Belize whilst that their case goes through the U.S. courts.
When we return, Belize's courts push for faster justice with new case management training.
All right, on the one fun day on, the window open and the light may turn off. You look like you listen to me, Jamie.
Not only that, I even get a new coffee mug where keep my coffee hot all day.
I'm impressed. You don't look like you're so hard, yes?
Better than that, BL can change my meter to one of their new smart meter. They call it the AMI.
Oh, I hear about it on TV from BL. How do you know?
Yes, man. They don't reach the man better to change it right now. Let's go check it out.
Hey guys, I'm almost done here.
So that when you reach my area,
we're upgrading meters across Belize. House by house, business by business. Always look out for BL logo, uniforms, and IDs. BL will make you know when we're in the area. The EMI meter rollout is a part of BL strategy to modernize our energy services.
You don't need to come in at my house, right?
Come in at your house, boss, only if you got something good for you.
BEL, bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
We just take the coast out.
Belize is on the move. The coastal road is now powered by Digi's ever-expanding 4G LTE advanced network. Now you can stream that music, track that storm, or stop to send that file. Digi 4G LTE has got you covered. Digi, leading Belize's digital transformation.
Get ready for the annual 10th Bram with your Belize City Council. Join us for a day of celebration with free treats for the kids, giveaways, and live entertainment by the Youth Connection Band, Coconut Boy, TR Shine, Meme Martinez, Sweet Pain Band 3.0, Chico Ramos, Firestarter Songs, and so much more. Save the date. Wednesday, September 10th, 2025, from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Lord Rayburn Plaza, behind the Memorial Park. Let's bring out the entire city. This is truly a family affair you don't want to miss. Want to showcase your products? Reserve your booth today by calling 280-2308, extension 263. or WhatsApp at 673-9055. Your Belize City Council. Always vote the people.
The biggest business event of the year is back and better than ever. The Expo Belize Marketplace 2025. Mark your calendars and join us on September 13th and 14th at the Marion Jones Sporting Complex in Belize City. Don't miss your chance to explore hundreds of local businesses showcasing the very best in local products and services. From unbeatable deals and mouth-watering food and drinks to live entertainment that'll keep you moving. The Expo Belize Marketplace has it all. Whether you're shopping, discovering what's new on the market, or just enjoying the vibes, there's definitely something for everyone. So come on out and celebrate 29 years of Belizean innovation at the Expo Belize Marketplace 2025. See you there. Expo sponsors include Bowen & Bowen, Smart Belize, Maurice Sharp's Fine Foods Limited, Quality Poultry Products, Digi Wallet, Grace Kennedy Belize Limited, Cellular World Belize, the European Union, Diversified Life Solutions, the Belize Tourism Board, Tenchtronics, Woodstock, Belize Soca and Culture Fest, Love FM, Love Television, Creme Radio, XTV, Hot Off the Press, Hits 100 Oye FM, Belize Entrepreneur Spotlight, and the BCCI's Western Union.
In a major step toward judicial reform and professional development, Chief Justice Louise Blenman, in partnership with the Judicial Education Institute and the UNDP PACE Justice Project, has launched a 2-day seminar on case management within the courts. The training brings together magistrates, judicial staff, and international experts to strengthen operations in the magistrates' courts. Here's News 5's Zenaida Lanza with a story.
A major push is underway to improve case management in the magistrate courts. On the second day of the training seminar, magistrates and judicial staff took part in a workshop aimed at cutting backlogs and speeding up access to justice. Experts from the region and abroad shared tools on digitization and efficiency. Chief Magistrate Deborah Rogers says support from the PACE Justice Project benefits the judiciary at every level.
We are taking on a more customer-centered approach, how the users of the public relate to the processes that we have to engage in. How do they play their role in the criminal justice system? And a big part of that for unrepresented persons is that it gives us an added responsibility as magistrates to meet them halfway, engage with them, explain the law to them, explain the process to them. So PACE Justice really pushes that incentive, and by us creating training programs like these, we're able to enhance our capacity. We get to build our network with other donors, and we're very grateful to UNDP and PACE Justice for giving us another opportunity to expand our capacity and reach.
While the courts rely heavily on paper, a case management system is in place and will be used more effectively to track backlogs and provide better data. Each district, however, has its own unique challenges, meaning solutions must be tailored rather than one size fits all. UNDP team lead Amelin Mendez says digitization will play a key role in bettering the system.
What we're looking at in terms of next steps is e-payments as a first step, and a second action would be specifically creating a website for the magistrate court. In terms of upgrading the system for the judiciary, that will take a little bit more time, but we're still in that planning and discussion phase. It's not a one-year approach, and it's the heart of digitization is culture change, because if I'm working paper-based for so many years, I'm comfortable with that, right? So we now need to go into that digital era, but it really is dependent on persons within the court system and persons as clients. If you're already used to coming in and we're telling you now you're doing online banking. So that's part of the process of digitization.
Trainings like these give Belize a chance to learn from other countries and figure out what works best here at home. But turning those lessons into real change, that's a bit more challenging. Chief Magistrate Deborah Rogers admits that it's an ongoing process.
It's an ongoing process for us. We have our monthly reports as magistrates. We try to meet at least every quarter of the year, although it's a bit difficult, but that is how we're able to assess our progress. We exchange ideas. Our clerks are always in communication. So it's impossible for us to give a set timeline. Matters are always coming in. The workload is always changing, and we're always striving to improve our backlog. The court will always have backlog. The court will always have backlog. I'm not going to give people unrealistic expectations, but as judicial officers, we have a duty to ensure that matters are processed efficiently and timely.
This seminar reflects the judiciary's commitment to continuous professional development and to upholding the highest standards of judicial service in Belize. Reporting for News 5, I'm Zenaida Lanza.
Since 2020, Belize has been pushing to diversifying its economy through the Ministry of New Growth Industries, moving beyond traditional sectors like seafood, citrus, banana, and sugar. Emerging industries such as cahoon, hemp, seaweed, and film are now in focus, with value-added products and public-private partnerships opening the door for new investment opportunities. While under the Ministry of Transport, the government is working towards boosting Belize's economy by modernizing the bus system to improve connectivity and productivity. Meanwhile, under the Ministry of Transport, the government is hoping to modernize the bus system to improve connectivity and boost productivity. At the Belize Investment Summit, Minister Karim highlighted the potential of these new growth industries, while Minister Zabanet outlined plans to attract investment for the national bus company.
For us at the Ministry of New Growth Industries, what we're really focused on is creating the regulatory framework, the policy initiatives, and of course the law to assist public-private partnerships in cahoon industry, in cannabis, in particular hemp, in the film industry, and in seaweed. So those are our 4 primary focus targets for the last year.
What's the chances of investments coming out of this summit?
Huge, because as you might know, seaweed, for instance, that's considered a superfood. With 92 essential nutrients, and there are so many opportunities for manufacturing, for processing, for adding value, because while it is that you can sell seaweed in its raw form to the international market, you really fetch a very low value. And so what we want to focus on for Belize is creating value-added products, and so there's a huge opportunity there. For seaweed, for cahoon, for hemp, all of these value-added products.
Sharing what we're doing, we have potential investors who, some of them have reached out because we have various components of the consolidation. So, for example, we have the modernization of the terminals, we have the renewal of the fleet, we have systems for scheduling. We have the overall modernization requires the use of modern technology. All of that, you have different interested parties who have already contacted us, and possibly here at the Investment Summit, some of them may also show some interest.
On the second day of Belize Investment Summit, the focus was on Belize's role in the global economy. Inspired by George Price's vision of a mixed economy, Minister Francis Fonseca highlighted Belize's position at the crossroads of CARICOM, Central America, and Mexico, which represents itself as a unique advantage for trade and investment. With CARICOM importing $25 billion annually between 2019 and 2023, the government is pushing beyond traditional sectors and towards value-added production and innovation. Fonseca highlighted that Belize's greatest strength is its people and unity, as he extended a warm invitation to invest in the country.
Belize is ready to welcome investment that diversifies our economy and creates good jobs for our people. But investors are right to ask, is the environment enabling? Can business be done easily? To that query, I say unequivocally that our administration has taken heed of the challenges raised at the last investment summit and pressed full speed ahead with a bold agenda of reform. Our reforms promote government working hand in hand with the private sector to create jobs, raise productivity, and open new markets. Through our single investment window, we are reducing bureaucracy, ensuring that investors spend less time navigating paperwork and more time building enterprises. Through the electronic single window for trade, we are cutting repetitive bureaucratic red tape among border agencies and digitizing trade facilitation to lower trade costs and time at the ports of entry.
Up next, from incarceration to inspiration, Kenora Young's journey to freedom.
Easy. Accessible. Safe. Yours. DigiWallet. Easy, accessible, safe, yours.
This September, the music gets louder, the costumes get brighter, and the streets of Belize explode. Color and culture. Greater Belize Media brings you the ultimate carnival experience, from lineup to last lap. Join our live coverage on Saturday, September 6th, starting at 1 p.m. from Memorial Park all the way to Marion Jones Stadium. Carnival 2025 marks 50 years of rhythm, resistance, and revelry. And we will bring it to you every step of the way, from lineup to last lap. Carnival 2025 on Greater Belize Media. See you there. See you there.
F&G Insurance, you can request a quote, renew a policy, purchase a policy, and even file a claim effortlessly with WhatsApp. Here's how. WhatsApp the words "Get Started" to 670-8700. We will prompt you to select the service that you are interested in. Select the service and answer a few simple questions. An RF&G representative will process your request and follow up with you when your transaction is completed. It's that easy. Skip lines and WhatsApp us. Remember, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a Road Group company.
For 13 years, Belize Bank has helped students rise with full scholarships for high school and sixth form. 100 high schoolers supported for 4 full years. 58 sixth formers given the boost they need to go further.
In Belize, the Belize Bank believes that education is the most powerful investment we can make in our youth.
It's more than financial aid. It's mentorship, supplies, and a commitment to Belize's future. Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
Back again, it's time for education. We're smart, we
bringing people together.
This month, we're shining a light on stories of new beginnings, and few are as inspiring as Kenroy Young's. At just 19, his life took a turn that landed him behind bars. Fast forward to today, and Kenroy is leading the charge as National Youth Director for Restore Small Groups Belize, helping others heal, rebuild trust, and start fresh. I sat down with him to hear how he turned his life around and why he believes no mistake has to define your future. Here's this week's look on the bright side. "17 years ago, Kenroy Young's name was making headlines, but for all the wrong reasons. At just 19, a young man with a bright future found himself in a courtroom, convicted of forgery and burglary. That decision would cost him more than a decade of his life behind bars.
By the time the police vehicle hit the curve on the Hattieville Boom Road junction by the speed bump, I was like, well, this is it. I really messed up now. There's no help here now. This is the brick wall I've run into, and everything that people used to tell me came back flashing to me in like a quick succession.
Prison can break a man. It can strip away hope and crush the spirit. But for Kenroy, the silence of confinement became a classroom. In the hardest places, the journey toward a new beginning truly began. But every fresh start has a beginning. And for Kenroy, it started with the choices that landed him behind bars. He shared what pushed him down that path.
I would say plain and simple, I was somebody who couldn't be satisfied with enough that I had, and I always wanted to live above my means. I wanted to please my friends around me, and I have people look at me like, oh, that's the rich kid and he has money, and like I'm looking for some kind of acceptance or some kind of love from them.
But this story isn't really about mistakes. It's about what Kenroy calls his journey to true freedom. Today, Young's name is back in the news, but this time for a different reason. He now serves as the National Youth Director for Restore Small Groups Belize, a program that creates safe spaces for men and women to process pain, confront cycles of anger, and choose a different path forward.
Sometimes it's a bit challenging to do the work that we do. Because we often work with individuals who, at some point, some individuals will say are written off.
Andrew Dawson, acting director of the Leadership Intervention Unit, first met Kenroy as a young man and later worked with him at the LIU after his release. The unit focuses on rehabilitation and mediation, supporting individuals like Kenroy as they rebuild their lives and reintegrate positively into society.
I know his story isn't one of a bed of roses. There are challenges, there were obstacles, there were setbacks. But he was persistent. He was adamant that he wanted change, and he wanted something better for his life, and he wanted to contribute positively to society. So I think that in itself is something that is honorable for him to keep on fighting, to be able to embrace that rehabilitation process.
The Journey to Freedom program helps people heal and get their lives back on track. Kenroy Young went through it himself in 2015 while incarcerated. And now as National Youth Director, he's helping others work through things like grief, loss, addiction, and self-esteem, proving that real change is possible.
This was like a full circle because I used to tell prisoners in the program, I told them, you know how good it would be if these programs such as these, Journey to Freedom, could be in schools to get to our young people. It would make a tremendous difference in the way that they think and that the way that they behave in society.
I can say that the participants were very receptive to not only the program, but Mr. Young's story and how he conquered his adversities, and how he now is still working on being a better person, but has and is able to measure the growth that he has made over the years.
Kenroy's story isn't just about second chances. It's about the work it takes to rebuild a life and restore trust. His mother, Ara Young, has watched him take those steps, letting fate guide him as he works to make a difference in the lives of others.
I really feel good that he's making a stance to help others. And when it comes to just do it for God. Mm-hmm. Again, when it comes to what you did to people, it's going to be hard for them to trust you. But you cannot just try to fight to prove to people. Just do it for God. If you do it for God, you're on the right path.
I always say that God had a purpose, but it had to take time for me to realize what I wanted. And everything that came about now and all the fruits that I'm seeing now in my life comes from His work, His glory, and I guess I know for sure, I don't guess, His love for me.
From life behind bars to leading others on a journey of healing, Kenroy Young is living proof that with faith, purpose, and persistence, real transformation is possible. Looking on the bright side, I'm Sabrina Daly. Before we leave you, here's tonight's viewer's voice. On our first story about Minister Kareem Musa breaking his silence on the Budna situation, Miguel Sanchez shared, if the officers and others are involved have been identified, when will they be arrested? Turning to recent updates on the Serrano versus Transport case ruling, Rick Garcia commented, a lot of error in the procedure happening. And finally, Tracy Panton comments on Joseph Budna's kidnapping. Ryan DeReal Gam shared, it's time now. Miss Tracy, go get them and don't let the PUP slide with this one. Thank you for engaging with us online. Your voices shape the national conversation. Keep those comments coming and we'll continue to feature them right here. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at greaterbelize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, have a happy and safe weekend. Good night.